I will make this brief. Talking to Laura just about our team's ups and downs and struggles as coaches. It's great to catch up. So thank you for being here. Thank all of you for being here. I think it's a pretty big day. I remember a couple years ago, because we had a year hiatus between this event, and I remember, watching the last bit of your game, and you guys had beaten Portland, and then you told me, go stick it to Portland, something along those lines. I don't want to swear or anything, but she kind of tried to motivate us and me and myself, and unfortunately, we couldn't do it. So we're going to try and reverse the tables this year. We're going to play first. We're going to try and win. Let's try and make sure that happens first, and then we'll watch the nightcap, and hopefully you guys will have a good result against our arch enemies from Portland. But welcome, everybody.
All right, with that, we'll bring the wireless mic around. Kevin has that. If I could see a quick show of hands for who would like to lead off with questions, we'll get started. Jeremiah, I saw you first. Mic is coming over to you.
Yeah, I guess for anyone that wants to answer this, we didn't do this last year. How much do you enjoy being able to have these double headers, and what kind of opportunity does it present to display yourselves to a sort of a new audience?
I can start. I think it's great for soccer in this city. With the World Cup coming, lots of positive stuff. These events are great, and I'll toss it over to you because I'm a massive supporter of this.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think the first one that we did was a massive success. I think for us to be able to showcase our product in front of the Sounders fans that have always been so loyal to soccer in this city, I think is huge. And obviously it was such a huge success on the day for us, and I think just the way that the fans took us in was fantastic. So we can't wait for tomorrow.
We'll go to Jada next.
Thank you, y'all. For either Lou or Laura, there's the last time in 2021, there seemed like there was so much hopefulness too, because that was the first time that y'all had played at Lumen. Have things, filled out the way that you wanted to, or can you kind of reflect on maybe how the feeling of it or the approach of the doubleheader might be different this season than in 2021?
Yeah, I think the first doubleheader we had was just exciting because it's the first time we've ever done this. So coming around the second time, I think it's just great to showcase, like Laura said before, and have another set of eyes on us as well is really beneficial for the club. And I like to say once you come to one game and you see us play, you hopefully want to come back. So I think that's super important with these games and doubleheaders. But yeah, I think we obviously have deserved to be in Lumen for a really long time. So I think being able to carry that growth and see that it's already going to be sold out and things like that is really important for soccer in Seattle. I think it's really been a Sounders town for a really long time. So being able to collab like this, I think it's becoming a soccer city, which is really hopeful for women's sports.
Go right over here. Mike's coming to you.
I don't cover Sounders, so you don't know me, so I'll introduce myself. My name's Bella. I work for the Equalizer, and I cover the Reign. Last year, there were several thousand people who went to the Sounders game and not to the Reign game. This is a question for all of you, particularly you, Cristian and Brian. You could say one thing to the fans who are considering only going to the Sounders game and not staying for the late game. What would you tell them?
That there's no drop-off in the quality and in the women that play in this city. That's important to, our average fan, right? That haven't really seen the Reign play. And so for me, there's no drop-off, and, we want these young girls to be inspired and motivated, even young boys, by the way they play. And I go back to my neighbor who, watches the Reign more than the Sounders, and they know me personally. So, that's a huge, that's what I want to see in the city, and I think that's coming to the game will be a huge factor in that.
We want all the Reign fans to come to our game early.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, question. Yeah.
Hi, Susie Rantz with Sounder at Heart as well. Laura, this will be your 200th game, coach, and I'm just wondering what it means to you to be able to do that against Portland.
Yeah, feels great. Just means I'm old, I think. Yeah, I mean, you probably couldn't write a script better. Everyone knows my feelings around Portland. I haven't kept them quiet the whole time I've lived in this city. I think from the first game of coming to Sounders Timbers, I remember walking through the concourse and a Timbers fan was walking past me and I had immediate hatred. So I think it's just stayed with me forever. And, you know, I've always said this, I think the thing that's really cool about the rivalry is that there is respect between the two cities and the two clubs, and both on the male and female side. But it's a real rivalry, like it's not made up, it's true. And I think that's what any football fan globally has always looked at, you know, where do you find rivalries within the US? And this one is, without doubt, the most authentic that I've ever seen. So I know that we, as on this table, definitely all feel the same about it. So yeah, I feel very privileged and proud and lucky that I've been able to coach 200 games in this country. So yeah.
Bring it over to Felipe here.
Thank you. Felipe Maqueda from El Rey 1316. My question to both of you coaches is, what is it needed in this country? What kind of support to make the women's soccer as successful as the men? So women's soccer in other parts of the world is very successful, like in Europe. What is it needed here in this country where women have been very successful?
I can start, but I'll let you finish because you're probably more knowledgeable, but congratulations on 200.
Thank you.
Number one. Look, Felipe, the women's game is exploding in this country too. I know you see, I see snippets of, 60,000 in Barcelona and stuff like that, the women's leagues over there, but our league is growing fast as well. And I think the boost at the World Cup is going to be here. The Women's World Cup has been here. I think soccer just in this community is going to help all of us, all sports, and I'll stick by it. I think there's a lot of fans that want to see women's professional soccer grow, and I think they will.
Yeah, I think the thing that the NWSL and soccer in this country doesn't get credit for really is that the thing that we're a business too. People actually pay to come and watch us play, and I think that obviously teams in Europe and teams around the world get some really good fan bases, but they don't make the money we make. And I think that that's testament to people actually want to pay. They want to get money out of their bank and actually pay and watch this sport. And the more that it explodes, the better that is. I think the World Cup in the summer will be massive for that. I think things like this is huge for it locally, but globally the game's just going on a trajectory that I think will be, it's unrecognisable from probably 3 years ago, honestly. So I think the 2019 World Cup was huge for the women's game, and I think this summer's World Cup will be too.
Okay. Jeremiah and then Jada again.
Yeah, Cristian, apologize for a practical question, but how are you feeling just from your concussion and whatnot?
Yeah, like we talked earlier, it's been a frustrating, I think it's 7-8 weeks now, but I'm feeling back to normal and happy to be back. I missed the sport. I hope you guys missed me, and just thankful to not have that pressure from the organization and to get things right the first time, so that I'm not in this position again.
Jada.
I had a kind of a spin off of that too, because you being able to talk today, does that mean that you'll be able to play tomorrow? And with that also, you guys have lost the last 4. The Sounders have lost the last 4. Reign have not lost to Portland since 2019. So Sounders-wise, what is it gonna take to kind of turn things around against Portland?
He will be playing tomorrow. I can guarantee that. Jada, that's an interesting question because we did a little bit of history. After the last loss in Portland, the 4-1 match, I talked openly about, is this a rivalry amongst our players? And so today during the film, we tried to pick out some of the good things that we did against, San Jose, and certainly we went back and watched some of the good parts of that Portland match down there. But we gave them a little bit of a history lesson. What happened? We haven't won in this building against Portland since 2017. We've had a couple draws, but that's not good enough. And yeah, they've had our number in the past. There was that little kind of moment in time where, the away team would always win. We've had big results down there throughout the course of history, the 4-4 comeback, the 6-2 win. But yeah, reality says they've had our number. And so I'm glad one Seattle franchise is doing the business. I'm certainly glad about that. And I hope that our guys respond in a big way after a disappointing result on Wednesday.
Yeah, I could add to that. I mean, we have to play with a chip on our shoulder, right? With some emotion, but you also can't let that get, play into their hands, right? Because then it becomes a difficult game, right? You play off just emotion. You can lose the game due to that. So a fine balance for us, and it's a rivalry game. A rivalry game that you're playing at home. So a lot of pressure for us, and we enjoy that.
Can you walk us through, do you know how you sustained the concussion at all? And when did you get any feedback, I guess, maybe on where it would have came about? And then, and maybe early symptoms that you finally noticed?
Yeah, I had, it was almost like a whiplash injury. There was no real blow to the head. So it's difficult to really pinpoint if that was the case. I woke up the next day and with a massive headache, and it's frustrating. But people don't think that concussions are real at times, and it's a sad thing because players go into really dark places because you have a headache, you don't feel right. You're missing time on the field, and so this was a nice wake-up call for me, I think for my teammates, to kind of, re-educate ourselves on the concussion and, the protocol that we have to deal with.
All right, we'll go, that's fine.
Hi, I'm Steve Oak with Sounder at Heart. This is mainly for Laura and Lou, but really anyone can chime in. Earlier this week, the Reign announced they hired local Seattle legend Leslie Gallimore as new general manager. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about kind of the process going into that hire, the importance of having her on board, and what she's maybe going to be able to bring to the team.
Yeah, I think it was a position that was needed for us. I think Leslie is someone who just walks into a room and gets automatic respect from the players and the staff at the club because of what she's accomplished, not just in the game, but locally within the city. I don't think she had to introduce herself pretty much to anybody because everyone knew who she was. So I think that immediate comfort level was there. It was her first day with the team today. So personally, I will say I'm really happy. I think that she knows where our sort of needs are and what we need to do on and off the field. And obviously, I think she can bring a little bit of stability in what is a little bit of an unstable time at the club. So I think her hire is a huge thing for us moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, Leslie was recruiting me in college, so I've known her a very, very long time. We're excited to have her in with us. I think she brings a great balance of both soccer knowledge and business knowledge, which is exactly what we need right now. And honestly, just energy and new faces has been really good. So we're excited to have her. She was out at the training today, and she came up to me and she goes, "Man, I just miss soccer. It's been the first time she's been on the field in 3 years." So just, having that fresh face and a new set of eyes and, ideas and thoughts, I think is really important for our club right now moving forward.
Okay, we'll go right here.
To Lou and Cristian, obviously, both of you understand the magnitude of this rivalry doesn't really need to be overstated, and both of your clubs have had, most of their core intact for the last few years. But when a new player comes in, does it do either of you or anybody in the locker room ever have to express the importance of these matches, or is it just something that, you know, some of these newer players will come in and understand what these games mean?
I don't think players necessarily understand when they come in. The Portland-Seattle, you know, it's just so different. It's so different than any other game. It's like a championship game every time we play, pretty much, from the women's side. And we have kind of noticed, obviously, our older players are, you know, sort of coming out and these new faces coming in, that we do have to make sure that we continue the traditions, I guess, is what I like to think of. We're very passionate about it, Laura and I, and like the OGs that have been on and played a lot of Portland games, especially back in the day. We played them 100 times because they were only West Coast team that we had. But yeah, I think keeping our traditions alive is really important. Like right now, we've got roses hanging from our ceiling in our locker room, so that's a big tradition of ours. Just a reminder of who we're playing, and we get those in. You know, obviously we played San Diego midweek, so they were in there when we got here this morning. So just things like that, I think, is important. And I think when new players come in, they see this and they're like, "Whoa, this is different." So I think they can feel the environment we created around these games, which is important, and we hope that they carry that on after, you know, we leave. So they're fun.
Yeah, I think for me, you know, a lot of our, you know, signings these days are very young, and you know, this rivalry stems all the way down to the academy. So it's almost like a reminder to those guys that are now part of the first team. You know, that hatred kind of goes down all the way down to the academy, and then more for guys that are coming from a different league. I think that's when, you know, you have to, you know, share the magnitude of this game. And, you know, I think for us too, it's a celebration of soccer in this city. You know, bringing the entire city together and enjoying the sport that we love and bringing people together. I think that's always an important piece. And, you know, if we can get the win, even better.
Yeah.
Laura and Lou, you specifically, Portland are a team that have struggled a bit defensively this season, but they have not struggled whatsoever to score goals. Sophia Smith, Morgan Weaver, so many names on that front line that are just really racking them up. How do you plan defensively to deal with all of their offensive weapons? Because you can't really just isolate Smith because they have so many.
Yeah, I think our mindset is always prevention is better than cure with them. You know, they're fast, they're powerful, they can get in behind you. So how we can solve that by limiting the amount of service that they get is a big thing for us. And obviously after the disappointing game here against Gotham, that was something that we went back and spoke about our foundations as a team of being defensively hard to beat. We've got back to that in the last two games, and I think that's shown that not only have we not conceded goals, but we've actually scored two. I think that's just the blueprint of what this team's about, and it won't change any differently for who we're playing against. If we can be aggressive in that defending moment, I think we make it really difficult for them. But yeah, they've got talented players for sure. They're obviously won the championship last year, and the championship team versus the Shield winner is always a difficult opponent to play, so we're ready for that.
Yeah. It's coming right to you.
You addressed this a little bit already, but this is the first time coming into the doubleheader where Lumen is now your permanent home, and I'm wondering, you know, you've seen growth in 1 year in terms of attendance, even in like a lighter attendance last week, it was still in your top 5, and I'm wondering just like, how does it feel different to be building an audience here at Lumen and heading into this doubleheader?
Yeah, I think it's been difficult for the Reign because we've been so many places. We never really got to call anything home. I still personally feel like Memorial is home to me because I had the longest stay, and it's when we came in 2013. Yeah, so I think like anything in life, we're finally settled. We're able to build from here, and last year we did well. And how we continue to do that is doubleheaders. I think representation is really important, and we feel the support. I have friends on the team I actually went to school with, Andy Rose and Kellen, so having their support is really important, and I think the more that we can see that with things like this, we'll continue to grow in Lumen and make it feel like home for us as well.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever forget the doubleheader the first time, because I think just seeing soccer fans appreciate the game was was so huge. And then coming here and then this being our home every week, even though, you know, we get that one side pretty full, it's loud, it's passionate, and then I'm sure tomorrow it's going to be double that. So excited for that.
Yeah, Jada.
Excuse me, Lou, you had mentioned a little bit about the roses. Can you explain a little bit about what that is? Are they supposed to be upside down? Do you chop them afterward? Or like what's the?
Don't give too much away.
Yeah, I was going to say. I know
think,
you can't say.
Yeah,
too, but-
I mean, there's photos of this one, so I can talk about it. But we ended up bringing out the bouquet of flowers last time we played the doubleheader. We were able to,
Yeah.
you know.
Somebody stumped on.
Someone stomped on them. It's also representation, like, yeah. So, yeah, it's just something that we can have. That's just a reminder when we walk in that how important these games are and who we're playing.
So it's like a dozen or 8?
Yep.
All right, we'll take a couple more here before we get to photo op and get you folks upstairs to cover the flag raising. Kev, can you get the mic over to Felipe, please?
So tomorrow is a very special game, just because the doubleheader. But and tomorrow the standings doesn't matter, the points. Tomorrow the game is important because everybody wants Sounders and Reign to beat the opponent. So what is the message from the coaches and the players to the fans?
Yeah, for us, it's a final. We talked about this in the locker room. We treat it like a final. Standings don't matter, like you mentioned. You could win and lose the game on any given play. It almost feels like we lost our last game in Portland due to one play, and you have to, be focused for the entire game. And so our message is we're gonna come out and we're gonna treat it like a final, and I think that's important. And that's the message that we're sending in our locker room.
The message for the fans, Felipe, is come out and enjoy a great afternoon of high-level soccer. Hopefully the home teams are going to win, but it's going to be a great afternoon. It's entertainment. You're gonna spend a day watching wonderful athletes, talented athletes. You can enjoy all the activities that are going on around the stadium. It's going to be a glorious Seattle summer day. It'll be a great event.
I think, too, it's an advantage. We're at home. So as many people that can get out there, as loud as can be, make it awful for Portland. That's what we want.
Any other questions for photo op? Okay, we're going to ask our panelists to stand quickly. We'll break down the table, get you some scarves, and Corky will direct for still photography and television shooters. All right, Corky, you're in charge.
Let's just set her up just a touch that way, please. There you go. So, okay, like that. And we're gonna do that. We're gonna look at video. And then in about 5 seconds, just go scarves up for all four of you for video. So it's all one passion, right?